So every new beekeeper is faced with this huge question that they have to answer before they can really get started. I'm getting my bees, but where do I put my hives? And what factors should I be considering when choosing a location for my apiary? In fact, what makes a given location better than another for keeping bees? And what on earth is an apiary? Answers to all these and more coming up right now on BeeSmart. Hey, Matt Phillips here with BeeSmart, an online community of beekeepers learning and practicing smart ways to keep honeybees. Okay, so first off, what is an apiary? Well, it comes from the Latin word apis, which means bee. So an apiary is a bee yard, a place you keep bees. All right, assuming you're a recreational beekeeper, meaning you're not going to have hundreds or thousands of hives, they're probably going to stay in the same location all year long, which means you're going to want to pick the best spot possible. Now, you're always going to be bound by what you have to work with, but when you do have options, here are 7 factors you might want to consider when choosing your apiary location. First off, public relations. Believe it or not, PR can be a huge part of beekeeping depending on where you live. And there are a few really simple things you can do to save yourself a lot of trouble when keeping bees. First, make sure your city or locality actually allows beekeeping. Check any local ordinances for restrictions or requirements. You don't want to get stung later by any pesky anti-beekeeping laws, so best to know the lay of the land up front. Second, watch out for any nearby conflict triggers. This could be chained up pets, kids' play areas, or pretty much anywhere people congregate and hang out and don't want bees buzzing them. So keeping your hives 20 feet from your neighbor's front porch at ground level with an open line of sight, probably not going to make you many friends. A good rule of thumb is to keep a 100-foot conflict-free radius around your hives. This is mostly for times of dearth when it's very dry and your bees are at their grumpiest. If you can't do the 100-foot rule, you might try facing your hives up against a 6-foot tall privacy fence or a hedge or something to get them up above head level before they start flying out. And last but not least, you might try sweetening the pot a little. A good jar of honey can go a long way towards sweetening neighborly relations. Okay, the next major factor you're going to have to consider is water. You don't want your bees flying a mile or more to have to get fresh water. You're looking for a lake or a pond, a stream, something that's always going to be there and available, but that's close. You want it to be within a quarter mile or less. The closer the better. Just make sure you don't put your hives on a floodplain. Now, it needs to be clean water, and by clean I don't mean dirt-free. A dirty pond is fine. What I mean is it shouldn't be a runoff reservoir from a bunch of monoculture fields that are constantly being sprayed with chemicals. Remember, having a good clean water source close by that your bees prefer will help keep them out of your neighbor's pool. Another good PR tool that makes everybody happy. Third is accessibility. It's really nice if you don't have to drive somewhere to get to your hives. Trust me, life is so much easier and your beekeeping experience will be much more pleasant because if you forgot something, all you have to do is walk back to the house to get it. But if you do have to drive, make sure you can park near your hives at all times of year. The back of your friend's field might look nice when it's dry, but come rainy season, you're going to need 4-wheel drive to get back there. Also, make sure your hives are secluded from foot and vehicle traffic. Keeping your hives out of sight from passers-by really cuts down on a lot of problems, like vandalism and apophobics. And yes, that is a real word. And while we're on the topic of accessibility, you need to make sure that if you have bear or other large animals in your area, especially bear, they do not have access to your apiary. Seriously, Winnie the Pooh may have been cute, but a real bear will lay waste to your hives. A good electric tape fence usually does the trick. Okay, let's talk about forage. Is there enough nectar and pollen in your area not only to keep your bees alive, but to position them to thrive? Remember, if you want a big honey crop, there's got to be enough nectar available to make that possible. And the same goes for pollen. It's their source of protein, so if your bees don't have enough, they will suffer. Just do a little research and see what's available in your area. Remember, your bees really only like to forage within about 2 miles of the hive, and their most meaningful foraging happens within a ½ mile of the hive. So keep those hives close to good forage. Now, believe it or not, there's a lot of debate in the beekeeping community about the sun. Some say full sun is best, some say afternoon shade is good, some say full shade. The truth is that there are a lot of factors that affect the amount of sun your hives should get. Region, climate, geography, the prevalence of certain pests in your area, rainfall. In general, you want to keep your hives on nice, dry, hard, flat ground, not down in a valley where cold air accumulates at night, but also not up on top of a mountain where they're going to get hit with high winds. Which leads us to our next topic, windbreaks. Strong winds, especially during the winter, are a big stressor for bees. In fact, wind, more than almost any other factor, can remove heat from a hive during the winter, so they really need to be sheltered from the wind somehow. Hives are frequently located near a tree line, next to a building, or in some geographic location that minimizes the amount of wind they receive. Some folks even build windbreaks out of straw bales or other materials for the winter. No matter how you accomplish it, just make sure those bees aren't getting hit with high winds during the coldest times of year. And finally, you'll probably want to be aware of what chemicals are being sprayed near your apiary. If you're thinking about locating your hives near large fields of row crops that are regularly sprayed with pesticides, especially a class of pesticide called neonicotinoids, you might want to reconsider. If you don't have any other location options, then a calm, non-threatening conversation with the farmer, requesting that they let you know before they spray, would at least give you a chance to close up your hives while they're out spraying. Most pesticides nowadays are required by law to have labels about when they can and cannot be sprayed. For instance, they cannot be sprayed during a bloom. Either way, developing a cooperative relationship with nearby farmers will usually get you a lot further than direct confrontation. And there you have it. 7 major factors you need to consider when choosing a location for your brand new apiary. So what do you think? What are some other factors that a beekeeper should consider when choosing an apiary location? Please tell us. Share your experience in the comments section below. And for all you new beekeepers out there, go and read these comments that other people are leaving below. I promise you'll learn a lot from them. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe to get updates, more learning videos, and to join our BeeSmart learning community. Listen, nobody knows everything, but collectively we all do. So let's learn together and be smart.